Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. This is Tracy Baker from Healthy You Community here on Google Plus. I'm pretty sure we're live. It says it is, so I'm going to just keep talking. And wow, it's Wednesday at 4 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Mountain. All points are late enough for to have some wine. We'll get into later, but it is time for hashtag What's Your Path, Healthy You. And today we're going to talk about going out there. And doing the research, getting ready for this show, I was amazed at what a craze this was. I don't have TV. I don't live in a big community. I had no idea how many people were talking about the paleo diet. It came into my community a couple of months ago, and then I found out that Dawn Nix has been practicing this since August. So we got her on the show. She's going to tell you, not in Dr. Oz goofy style, but in how to actually work this into her house. And when we first spoke about it, she said, Trace, it's not a diet, it's my lifestyle now. And that really resonated with me. So we're going to introduce Dawn Nix and tell us all about paleo and how you started it and why you started it.
All right. Hi, Tracy. Hi, everyone. My name is Dawn Nix. I'm a nurse by trade. I do live in Louisiana. I do have a high-stress job. I've been a neonatal ICU nurse for 8 years. Before that, I was a pediatric ICU nurse for 6 years. I am married to Wayne Nix. He's a respiratory therapist and also a nurse, so he also has a stressful job. We love what we do. You know, we love the babies. We love being nurses and giving back, and I think we're pretty good at it. But it's just one of those things that's part of a stressful lifestyle. So what happened last year? Last year was kind of a stressful year for me. Early in the year, my mom had some medical troubles. She does not live near us, so I flew up to be with her for some emergency surgery. That was early spring of last year. Around May of last year, Wayne and I decided to start our own company. It's now called D5W. We started selling coffee and tea at a local farmer's market. We just felt that we wanted to do something besides nursing, but with the point of getting people to slow down, take time for themselves. Well, that kind of came around to kind of bite me in the butt later in the year, because by August of last year, I had these abdominal pains. For us, I described it as the right upper and right lower quadrant pain. It's kind of a dull, burning, pulling pain. So I finally couldn't take it anymore, and for a health professional to go into the ER, you know, we have to be feeling pretty bad. So I went to the
Absolutely.
ER. Yeah, because, I mean, we know what's coming. So went to the ER in August, the local ER. I ended up staying on the floor for 6 days, which was not enjoyable at all. You know, I was on the receiving end, you know, of all the care that I used to get, and everyone was very nice, but at the same time, 6 days of not knowing what was going on. So during those 6 days and probably the week or two afterward, we did what I call, you know, the $1 million workup. We scoped from the top and we scoped from the bottom, ruled out the first things you think of with severe abdominal pain. Ulcer, I thought ulcer from chronic stress, appendicitis maybe. You know, scopes, did the colonoscopy, and after all that, the final diagnosis from the doctor was gastritis, and he actually recommended 2 things. He recommended slippery elm bark, and he recommended the paleo diet. So I did the slippery elm bark. I did find it at a local store, but it was the paleo diet that really was new to me. Just like you said, Tracy, you know, doing a little research in August, I had no idea. It's not one of the diets that we had really talked about at work. Mm-hmm. So this is all since August, and I'm so glad that he did. That was the best recommendation for the discharge instructions, was start the paleo diet. So ever since August, that's what I've been researching.
That's fantastic. What a traumatic story, though. You know, we all know, whether we really know, or we just think we know. We all know that we are what we eat. That what goes into us is who and what we are and how we feel. But to have such a traumatic experience from just poor diet, and so you get these instructions, you start doing the research. What was your first impression? My first impression when somebody said paleo, it's the one of the comments earlier was the Atkins comparison, and I didn't go there. I just thought, where the heck do you find T-Rex bones or meat? I'm not going to be able to grow that on the ranch. So what was your first impression with your research?
I was surprised that he recommended it, but at the same time, I was so glad, because at that point, I've lost track of how many medications I was on. I mean, I'm 38 years old. It was more than 5, maybe less than 10 bottles that I had, something for the acid reflux and various other things. And so I was glad that he said this, because I don't want to cover it up with another pill. That's the best thing.
So can I ask, did you have any sense that your diet was this far off before you got sick?
No, Tracy, and people at work even, they still look at what Wayne and I bring to work. I thought we were doing pretty well, but I guess in retrospect we weren't. Because if you start looking into what paleo is, it's more natural foods. The primary tenets of a paleo diet is if you can hunt it, gather it, fish it, pick it, you can eat it.
Wow. So where does the chocolate fit into that? I guess technically you can gather chocolate because it's cocoa beans, but
correct.
That's a wonderful philosophy, and I'm glancing at the stream as it goes by, and I see Wayne Meter just came in, and we spoke in the green room of having a talk about sustainable change. One of the things I loved as I started looking at it was how sustainable this is, to get rid of your processed stuff and start buying natural. So back to your story, you guys get the recommendation from the doctor, the prescription, as it were. Kudos to that doctor, by the way. And you start looking at it. What did you have to do at your house?
We actually got home, and once I thought about it, we went to the pantry, we opened the doors, and I probably threw out at least half of what was in our pantry. And I gave it to some friends, who have some teenage and some smaller kids, because it was candy, it was pancake mix, it was all this stuff that again, I thought I was doing good. I thought I was doing good with the pancake mix, but if you start reading it and reading what's in all these boxes, I'm like, oh my gosh, the corn syrup. You probably have seen that. The high fructose corn syrup is in so many products. We literally, like I said, just took bags. I think we took 3 garbage bags to my friend's house with her kids and gave it all away.
Okay, we've got a ping from our wingman saying she wants to get some comment trackers up there. What do you got going on in that comment stream, girlfriend?
Oh, well, it's quite amazing what's happening out there tonight. Let's do a big shout out to Emma Grady. She's put some pictures up, and she's added some descriptions, and I believe she has some recipes that she's linked in. And I know that Roxanne Devonport, she was asking, she said, hey everyone, I read a book about the diet, now I want the recipes. So I think, hook up to Emma. And also Jessica Maynard is here. She's saying, hi everyone. And I saw Wayne Meadows here too, so great to see everyone in the audience. Keep those comments coming in and the questions. Back to you.
I saw the comment about the donut seeds. That's funny. Uh-huh.
I haven't seen the comment about the donut seeds yet.
Uh-huh. I saw donut. I think Wayne Meter said he has some donut seeds for us, but I don't know if that's on the diet, Wayne. Sorry. No, but I do have. You know what I did to start? I went to the library because I did take a couple weeks off. Of course, while I was in the hospital, and then afterward, just to finish up the colonoscopy and all that, I did go to the library with Wayne, and we did rent some books. And I ended up buying only a couple, like Everyday Paleo. Sarah Fragoso has several cookbooks. I find them very easy. I had gotten one, Paleo Desserts, a little more involved, but still possible. And then I think if Emma says she has some recipes, that would be good too. I like to post some photos. And then I do have some recipes. What I'm finding, Tracy and Kirsten, is that as I'm finding some of these recipes, I either pin it. I've discovered Pinterest, and there are a lot of recipes coming out, a lot of smoothie recipes. I still like to cut, so I'm still printing these recipes as I find them, and then Wayne is suggesting getting these just little covers and putting them together, because now even people at work are starting to ask about recipes too. You know, should we do a cookbook? So this is just my way of putting some recipes together.
Did you find it hard, since we're on recipes, were you I know your husband and you have a cooking show, so this is going to be a silly question for those of you who know Wayne Nix and Dawn Nix, but there's a lot of people out there who say they use stuff from a box because they don't know how to cook. How hard is it to cook this diet for the average non-cook?
Mm-hmm. I will say that it takes some planning. So if you think about the basic tenets of the paleo diet, hunt it, gather it, fish it, pick it. Think about your grocery store, and you're going to have to plan this ahead of time between going to the grocery and then going to work. The basic rule in the grocery store is stay on the outside aisles of the grocery store. So in my mind, I picture Rouse's, which is our closest grocery store. You go in, I bypass the bakery. Sorry, that is the first thing we hit, but you stay on that path and you think about your grocery. You hit fruits, vegetables first on that side. If I keep going, I do get the coconut around the milk. Dairy is out, but there is coconut and almond milk that is allowed. So I go on that side, get my coconut and almond milk. At the end of that aisle is the eggs. I do like free-range eggs if you can get it. I have a friend at work, Megan, who sells her eggs, fresh. I've seen her chickens. I know where they come from. She has chicken and duck eggs that she sells. If you have your own chicken eggs or someone, nearby, that's probably one of the best things you can get. And come back around and you think about your grocery store, you've got to bypass the Coke aisle, the chip aisle, the cereal aisle. There are a few things in between. Coconut oil, even Louisiana has a coconut oil now. Honey, it is on an end cap at Rouse's. Switch to honey, and if you're going to switch to honey, switch to local honey. Local honey is great for allergies. Honey is not recommended for infants under 1 to 2 years of age, I have to say that, but local honey helps with your allergies because the bees are getting the pollen from around your area and you are buying it unpasteurized. So you're taking a few little trips. You can get some gluten-free flour. I've even found it at Albertsons. A friend of mine found some gluten-free tortillas at Rouse's. Those are gluten-free. They're not paleo. But again, if you want to break into that, that is fine. And then as you're coming around the end, think about your frozen food section. And we have noticed, even though our food bill is going up, you can cut back slightly. Instead of buying those pretty peppers, we have a green, yellow, and a red bell pepper that we can buy, or you can stop in the frozen food section, for a portion of the price. So it is possible. Go to your grocery store, and you have to plan ahead. Think about where you're going to go. Think about how much you have to spend, and then think about what you're going to eat. Tracy, you had asked, does it really consist of making 2 meals a night? It doesn't.
Well, yeah, incorporating, some of the drawbacks that people have are this is, my family doesn't want to eat this way. That's why I failed in my diet. Or to buy the Twinkies for the kids. And so, I ate a couple or all of that. So how do you know also? By the way, he thinks you're a short, oh, where is that comment at? Oh, dang. He said you were some actress. I thought I pinned it. Oh, dang it, I didn't pin it. He said something about you're a short Angelina Jolie or somebody. So how do you and Wayne work this out together?
It actually works for us, Tracy. We don't have any kids, so there's no, like I said, when the Twinkies were gone, they were gone. I've heard that, sweets begets sweets. Like there's a certain chip bag that says you can never eat just one. Just think about that. And I mean, sweets, that's where I'm more likely to fail when it comes to the sweets. Some people really have a taste for bread. So, you know what? Get rid of that bag of chips. Get rid of the Twinkies. When it comes, so now it's just down to me and Wayne. So the other night, he tried a gumbo. You can make a roux with flour, and we did that on our show, Looking for Good Cooking. And I always like to ask, I always like to ask, what is the paleo option for whatever we're cooking? And for a roux, you can use brown rice flour or sorghum flour. There is a local company now bottling a roux using a sorghum flour. You use that. The things that go in a gumbo, you think about the vegetables, a free-range hen, chicken stock that we may or may not have made, at home. When you plate it up, I can't have rice, Wayne can. There you go. Okay. You can have the French bread. Yeah, we had fajitas the other night. I think I put a picture up.
Oh, they were delicious looking.
Yes,
they look amazing.
Yes, and it's fresh. What's the difference? I called it deconstructed fajito. Wayne put his meat on a tortilla with cheese. I put more vegetables on my plate and put the meat on top of that. For us, that's how simple it is.
That's great. Now, you talked about the gumbo, and I eat a lot of soup over the winter. Our wood stove is going all the time because it's our sole source of heat, and I use it as my, off-the-grid crock pot. And as I put my soups in, could I paleo it by using a natural thickening agent like a potato or some pinto beans I use sometimes. That is a natural thickening agent as opposed to the roux or the sorghum roux.
Mm-hmm. Tracy, unfortunately, potatoes are not on the diet, and neither are beans and legumes.
But I can gather beans and legumes. What the heck? No potatoes?
Well, there's a fear that grains and legumes have, a certain kind of protein that causes intestinal permeability. And, I know.
I live in New Mexico. Life without beans, just doesn't exist.
Well, maybe, and that's why a lot of times I call myself paleo-ish, because sometimes there are things you have to do. If you have to have your pinto beans, you put your pinto beans. Potatoes, if Wayne wants his potato, for me, sweet potatoes are allowed. He has his regular potato, I'll have a sweet potato. So you can make adjustments. If it's true paleo, you're not going to be able to use the potatoes or the beans. You can use something.
Sweet potatoes are allowed?
Sweet potatoes are allowed in moderation just because of their sugar content. So they are okay.
There you go.
So you'd have to, so for your soups, you really just look into it and maybe find one of these alternative thickeners. You can also go gluten-free. Gluten-free is kind of like a subset of paleo. Gluten-free, is the protein found in wheat and barley and rye. It's the things that make bread sticky. And some days I'm doing good just to go gluten-free, because the fear is that that's also hurting your intestine. It's a source of inflammation in your body. For me, I think it is my gut. Some people, it's the skin. Some people you may have seen get these rashes in different parts of their body when they eat gluten. Some of people, it's joint pain. They're finding all these different things that are related to gluten. The body's antibodies actually start attacking the body. So we're trying to cut out gluten. And if you go paleo, theoretically, you have already gotten rid of the gluten.
Yeah.
There's a really great question here from Sandra Higgins saying, Dawn Nix, how can a healthy starter start this diet without taking too giant of a step, not setting myself up for a failure? What could be the first thing you would recommend? Which I thought was a really good question.
All right, Chandra, my suggestion would be to start small because you don't want to fail. Like you said, nobody wants to fail. You want to have fun. You want to eat well. The first thing that you can do is make a small change. You know, take that granulated white sugar you have, and if you're used to putting 3 scoops of granulated sugar in your coffee, try, 3 scoops of honey. There's Steen's cane syrup. Steen's is local. Steen's is in Abbeville. Molasses is more unrefined than sugar. I don't really have a taste for molasses, so this was my substitute, pure cane syrup. Still getting rid of that refined sugar. Small things. Instead of buying that next jar of vegetable oil, canola oil, I found this the other day. It's pecan oil, and it's local. It's out of Winsboro, Louisiana. Try one thing, one less scoop of sugar. No more vegetable oil. Try the pecan oil. I also have another favorite product. Applesauce is in a lot of recipes. So you know what I discovered a couple months ago? It's called apple butter. Read the labels. The only ingredients are apples, apple cider concentrate, and spices, cinnamon and cloves.
And I guess you could make that yourself too, couldn't you?
You can. You can. Whenever it's apple season, just try it.
Yeah.
So, Chandra, try one thing because of course, you don't want to fail. You want to feel good. This is for your body. This is for yourself. It's going to help you. It's going to help you feel good from the inside out. So, as you're starting to do these things, you feel better inside. Your body's going to start feeling better. One of the comments earlier this week asked about immunity and feeling sick. I honestly have not called in sick for feeling bad since I started this in August. Not one cold, not one flu, not one sinus infection, nothing.
Fantastic.
So you're starting, you want to feel good. You want to go to work, the next day, and you want to bring these things with you. You want to look forward to lunch because, as a nurse, sometimes that 30 minutes is the only 30 minutes I'm going to have to sit down. So I want to look forward to lunch. I brought my fajitas yesterday. I brought my plums. I bring my sweet potato pancakes, and it makes you feel good, from the inside out.
There's a really good comment here from Richard Clarkson saying arrowroot is a good thickener and is gluten-free.
Mm-hmm.
Is that paleo?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cornstarch too. So let me ask you a question that came up for me in some of my research. They talked about setting up your plate and having so much of it coming from the vegetable. I think they said like a palm of protein and then some fruit, and I don't know what the other thing was. So how do you portion control? Because maybe Chandra can just take from a jumbo scoop of mashed potatoes and a little side of green beans and flip that over and go a big side of green beans and a tiny little scoop, and then at least, well, not mashed potatoes, we just found out they're not there. So I don't know what I'm saying. You go, Dawn, how do you do that whole portion control thing?
One of the suggestions, Tracy, is to eat smaller meals more frequently, if that helps.
She's going to love hearing that because she likes that.
Good. And I like to eat. I mean, Wayne and I are in Louisiana. We like to eat. And it is, we like to eat, and we like to eat well. You've seen Wayne's cooking. We like to eat. And so if you can break it down to smaller sizes, sometimes at work, I'm going to be honest, that 30 minutes is all I have. But like you said, for Chandra, if she has time, eat smaller meals. One of the best things that I like is that I am not measuring things. I am not weighing things. I don't feel beholden to you know, this 50-gram bar of pre-mixed protein, just because Wayne and I like to cook and I like that freedom. So yes, just like you said, Tracy, think about it ahead of time. I know Wayne's having his tortilla. Okay, I went to pick a zucchini from the garden, and I got an extra carrot, you know, from Rouse's. That was my extra side. You know, just grab an extra vegetable instead of the chips. You know, again, you can't eat just one. Throw it out. We started chopping up apples. Chop up an apple really fine. You know, there's your apple chips. You know, small
Well, you can.
things.
I mean, if you need that crunchy salty, which we haven't even talked about salt, but you know, if you're a chip lover and you need that extra crunchy salty, you can always do kale chips in the oven, right? Because
Yes. Hmm.
So,
how much it's going to get you thinking about not the processed stuff.
Oh, so,
Go ahead, Kristen.
I was just going to say, you were breaking up a little bit there, Tracy, but I just wondered what a typical day's menu would look like in the next household. Like, what would you have for breakfast? And then, you know, I noticed in the comment stream that Wayne said that you graze like a goat at work. Yeah. So, you know, what would the typical menu for a day look like?
Kirsten, I have switched to sweet potato pancakes. I get up at 5 a.m. That's the quickest thing for me, sweet potato pancakes and my apple butter. And it's honestly, it's an easy breakfast, so I usually make double the pancakes, bring that with me to work, and that's my snack on my 15-minute break. Eggs and bacon are allowed, you know, ideally free-range eggs, and know where your bacon's coming from. So on my days off, I do have that. Coffee's allowed. Again, I've substituted sugar for either coconut sugar or honey. For lunch, I do bring my lunch. You know, in the hospital, sometimes it's hard to find a healthy meal. You know, the patients love to bring food to the nurses, and during the holidays and during king cake season, it's very tempting, you know, when the king cakes are all laid out, and that's just not allowed, so you have to be ready. Bring your applesauce for your snack. Yesterday I went to work, I did bring the fajitas, no tortilla, no cheese, but an extra helping of the vegetables. I brought my plums for a snack. The afternoon, I find tea really holds me. Tea, I have a jar of honey at work. Again, when that feeling for tea strikes me, I got a sweetener right there. At home, tonight, I think Wayne's making the meatballs with the roux that we made the other day. And for the meatballs, we use, you know, it's good to know where your meat is coming from, and we do add a lot of chopped vegetables, the onions, the peppers, and he'll just saute those. He'll have his French bread and maybe some rice. And I might have, you know, another zucchini, since our zucchinis are all coming up in the garden.
Fantastic. Now, I just want to keep talking. We're a minute away from supposedly closing this out, and I'm just going to warn everybody, it's not going to happen that quick. You guys keep talking, and so will we. And something about, Kristen, don't you know Jamie Oliver?
He just lives down the road from me.
Go knock on his door. Let's get him on an HOA and talk about baby.
Yeah. He has done amazing things.
So, one of the things we haven't really talked about, besides Nazim's wine, and somebody put up something that went flying by about cheese. There's no cheese on this?
No cheese, no dairy.
No dairy at all, so no yogurt.
No yogurt. No. Probiotics are suggested, and I did find an internal medicine doctor that I'm working with now who did suggest a certain probiotic, thinking that, you know, everything that I've put in my body before has maybe just sloughed off all that good bacteria, you know, and all those little villi in the intestines. So try some probiotics and build yourself back up.
Okay. What about I drink, I juice? Obviously, all the vegetables are cool. From the sea, it's almost a fish?
Say it again, Tracy. You're breaking up. You're juicing?
I am juicing, and so the spirulina I put in my juicer.
I have seen ads for that, Tracy. I have not tried it.
Okay.
Right. It's good to be a little more alkaline. I have heard, versus more acidic. So if that helps, the chlorella and the spirulina, I just have not tried it yet. I did get a juicer as well, and you can, it's recommended keep the skins on if you're buying organic, or if you're buying, you're taking it from your garden. Keep the skins on, keep the juice, and drink it. I've even found recipes. There's so many more recipes and sources on Facebook and on Google Plus and all along the internet, recipes for food. But then other things, like after you've juiced your bag of oranges, what do you do with the orange rinds? So it makes you think about even further, and that's probably something that Wayne Meter would appreciate too. You have this bag of orange rinds, what do? Start a compost pile, start a worm composting. Tried a recipe for homemade, DIY cleaners using vinegar, I think baking soda, and citrus. So you take this one step, and then it leads you to all these other things that you start thinking about. You said your garden, your do-it-yourself projects. I think it's great.
That's one thing that I wanted to ask you to touch on, because I've seen it now 3 times, a minute away, no way, you got sick. You were recommended this. You've been doing it since August. What other aspects have your eyes been open up to? Did you guys garden before? Or now just everything that comes across your plate, you think, how can I paleo this? Oh, paleo this. That's another one. We've had some really cool hashtags go by the way. Paleo-ish is a new hashtag, apparently, Dawn. But is it... Because, they say when you make one healthy decision, it catapults into many, many more. So how do you see this growing for you? I mean, where do you want to go with this?
I am happy so far. Like you said, I've only been doing this since August, and Wayne and I have been doing really well. We were gardening before, but we are continuing to garden, using no harmful sprays, trying to do your DIY bug sprays, because, of course, we have a lot of bugs. We got more chickens. We love the fresh eggs. We got more chickens. Discovered the farmers markets. There are several in our area, and there's more. And you just think about the seasonal produce that are in the farmers market. There's always something new to discover. I go to work, and pretty much by now everybody knows that I'm on this diet. It's me, and there are a couple other girls who are doing it. One is an athlete, so she's a little more strict. Another friend, Stephanie, has kids, so she's introducing her foods a little more slowly so that the kids will take them in. But everyone works together. Like during king cake season, it's there, but nobody's pushing it on you. So once you are committed, and once everybody else knows that you're committed, the temptations go away. They don't offer me the whole bag of chocolate, and it's okay. it really is. I don't want to be tempted. So I plan ahead.
Were these people that you've worked with in the hospital, were they unhealthy and inspired by your changes, and now you're sharing your message as this ripple is growing?
I am trying. I'm trying, Tracy. Some of them are, and I don't mind talking about it to them at work. A lot of us call it clean eating. A lot of friends, they have little gardens, and they start asking me, well, what do you do, or what does Wayne do to keep the bugs down? Friend Mandy started her garden. What is she doing? She goes fishing. Tina goes fishing in the Gulf frequently. What is she bringing back? So yes, the more you talk about it, the more other people will not only help you and question you, but then I do think they start thinking, oh, well, let's do this, or it's blueberry season coming up. Where can I go pick blueberries? Once I post that picture on Facebook in a couple weeks, they're going to start looking, hey, where do you get blueberries? So I think it just continues, and then it comes back around.
That's fantastic. And it's just going to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And with that, are there any other questions out there, Kristen, that we need to get on there? I saw one from Kitty about vitamins. Do you know about vitamins and supplements, Dawn?
I do a little bit. My current doctor has recommended several vitamins for me. Personally, she recommended the probiotics. She recommended omega-7 and 3 for cardiovascular health. My latest thing is I'm trying some enzymes, some digestive enzymes, thinking that that might help too while I'm building up. Also getting older in age. I'm 38. We're doing some tests for some hormones. You got to keep your hormones in check as well. Hormones.
I'm 49 and a half. I know what you're saying. But supplements and vitamins are obviously okay on the paleo system.
They are okay, but you know what, Tracy? The first thing I saw when I got home and looking at the vitamin, I liked those little gummy vitamins. They're the round. I think Wayne may still have some. They're the little round, chewy adult vitamin. If you look, the first ingredient is high fructose corn syrup. So even with vitamins, you got to read the label.
Yeah, good advice. And you know, when I really got dedicated to no processed foods in my house, it started with high fructose corn syrup. 8.5, almost 9 years ago now, my husband and I decided to take high fructose corn syrup out of our kitchen, and we're shocked. And now we probably only eat about 10% of our diet from processed foods. I don't make my own pasta, which apparently now I can't have anyway. And so that's going to help me a little bit with my percentages. But we generally, again, it's like you. It's only the two of us, so we have it easy in regards to being able to cook from scratch. So what else is out there for us to cover before we start saying goodbye, Christian?
There's a comment from Richard Clarkson about why do juice manufacturers say to take peel orange rind off, but it's not necessary to remove the peel from lemons or limes. I thought that was quite interesting. There was another comment about that also. And just to give our friend Wayne Meador a plug, he said there's a 10% off at Red Wrigglers using a discount code for our lovely worm friends.
He wants everybody to buy worms.
Yeah.
We all need worms. It's fun.
Yeah. Wayne's done it. It's fun.
Yes.
There's some great comments out there tonight, and some we'll have to come back to. I know that we haven't covered everything. We haven't really talked about cost. There was a lot of comments earlier on about the cost of organic and paleo versus other types of food. So perhaps we'll come back to that in the comments later.
Have you guys figured out a 2-minute answer? Have you guys figured out how to get this a little more cost-friendly with your frozen vegetables or something like that? Dawn?
Sure. Try the frozen vegetables. Try the bulk. If Rouse's has a special on the chicken, you can buy and freeze. We'll only use half of it. It's just me and Wayne. You can buy the whole thing, freeze half of it. Grow, like I said, our zucchinis are really coming in right now, so I'm looking for all kind of recipes with zucchini right now. Try your farmer's market. Whatever's in season. It's an opportunity to learn new recipes for whatever's in season. And then in terms of cost, our food bill has gone up, but our doctor bills have gone down.
Wow. Yeah. That's a heavy statement.
Yeah. I haven't been to the doctor since I got out in August. Checked on the colonoscopy just a month ago. For about the 6-month checkup, I did choose an internal medicine doctor, like I said, just to start checking everything. But that's the first time I've been to the doctor since.
Well, there's a graphic that goes around G+ quite frequently that, you have two choices, and it's a picture of a doctor or a picture of a bunch of healthy vegetables. You're either going to pay for this or pay for that. Go ahead and eat healthy and save yourself, well, like you, as a NICU nurse, save yourself a visit to the emergency room. And so we're way over now. This is going to be my longest overage. So I'm going to, Chris, do you have a call to action? And then we're going to let Dawn call to action, and then I'll close it off.
My call to action is to get my zucchini plants growing as well as the nixes, because I'm not having much luck, so I'll be messaging them on getting some tips to grow mine better.
Fantastic. Grow your zucchini with Dawn. That's a new one. Dawn, what's your call to action?
I'd like to thank everyone who's helped Wayne and I so far. Thank you, Tracy, for helping us. Chef Larry Fournier has helped us. Mark Sadell has helped us. Wayne Meter has helped. We do have our cooking show, Looking for Good Cooking. Wayne loves to cook. I love to cook. And I love to put the paleo spin on it because I just want to show that it is possible, it is fun, and it's still healthy too.
Yay. And I was so mad. I had a bit of an emergency. I had to catch on the replay and not get involved with the conversation. You guys were so entertaining and so educational. And the way Wayne Nix, because I'm going to talk about the other Wayne in a minute, the way your husband got the paint chip colors from the local wherever and made Rue to match them, because it just, anyway, it was fascinating. And everybody circle them up and get into that invite square because you need to watch that cooking show. It's fantastic. And bringing me to my last shout out and my last call of action is we're starting a movement. If you haven't seen the TED Talk on how to start a movement, it's Follow the Shirtless Dancing Guy, and it's hilarious. It's 3 minutes long, and I might post that in a couple of days if I've got Wayne's permission. Hashtag Wayne Meter, the shirtless guy. And the movement is sustainable change. We talked about it last week when he was on the show. We all brainstormed out and teamwork like it's supposed to be and picked sustainable change as a hashtag. And now we want to spread that message to the world. Circle us up. Wayne Meter's in the comment stream. Circle him up. Get into this motion of what is sustainable change. You know, we all have our children who bring home the recycling project and they get an A on it, and then we throw away, you know, the glasses with the newspaper. That's not sustainable change. We might eat good for the 7-day diet, but doing it long term. And when you start practicing something like Dawn has done, because of a medical situation, look at how her sustainable change is growing. She's getting people at work involved in this. Spreading it out throughout the community, local communities with the syrups and the butters and the honey. It's sustainable change that just ripples around. So my call to action is for the month of June and beyond to hashtag sustainable change, circle Wayne up, get into his contact list, and eat healthy, 1 meal at a time. Shonda Higgins, if you're still out there, 1 meal at a time, just change it to something healthier. Grab an apple more often than the other stuff. And let's all just, I'm going to preach, and I'm preaching, but I get so excited about this. Somebody elbow me, give me the hook, the gong, the whatever. Everybody just take one little step, and we will have a sustainably changed world. And with that, we're going to close it off. We'll get digging around in there in that comment stream that we couldn't keep up with because it's so flying. We love all your comments and your activity. Let's all go out and have a healthy day. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.